Hello, good morning. Okay, I am attempting this from outside today in my garden because, as if you saw my stories, you see I was just sitting out here enjoying the peacefulness, and all of this just like flutters in the breeze behind me. It's gorgeous. And then it was time to do this, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go inside. So we're going to try it outside, see how it works. And I've got my coffee and hobnobs. Here's a question for you when we get started. What's the thought on dipping hobnobs into your coffee? Yay or nay? Because I've got to say, this is like a solid 10 out of 10 for me today. Specifically in a caramel coffee. Um, all right. Why does this always slip when we get started? Okay, so anyway, good morning. Um, right, I've got lots I want to talk about today. And I guess I may as well just get started. So honestly, one of the questions that I got for today's Q&A is also what I was going to talk about in my like general life chat, which is dating after divorce. So I know, sorry, I can't quite get this right today. I have mentioned this in little bits and pieces, and I've like sprinkled in little bits, and I haven't really been ready to share like lots. And today I'll probably share more than I have, because y'all, here it is in a nutshell. Dating is a roller coaster. It is a very vulnerable thing. It is dating after divorce in particular. I think dating in general can be a very vulnerable and emotional roller coaster. I think that's the same for everybody. But I think that dating after divorce adds an extra, a whole nother layer of stuff that comes up. And that's what I've been going through lately. And this week, the other thing, if you saw my stories, I said that I've got like a ton of things I should do today, but my job for today actually is going to be to slow down and let myself feel all the feelings that I've been kind of sort of pretending to let myself sit with, but actually I haven't fully. Um, Although that said, my plan for today was to watch really sad chick flicks and let the tears come. And I just got a text saying that my girls' stepsisters have threadworms, and now I need to wash all of the bedding and clean my house from top to bottom. So today's plan might be slightly thrown off. So anyway, side note. So where am I going when it's my like vagueness about dating? I met a man about a month ago or so who just is amazing. In short, absolutely amazing. And he seems to tick pretty much all the boxes on my exactly man list. It's just been incredible. um, I I didn't know, so I'd been doing some dating, and I'd had some good dates and met some nice people, like really enjoyed it. And then I met this man, and it was like, oh, this is how it gets to feel. Oh, this is different. And it was just, I mean, even from before we met, but especially from the first time we met, there was a noticeable difference in how this feels. And I honestly think one of the many things that I've learned is that my no's, like learning how to say no to the people before that, led up to my yes being a hell of a lot more powerful. So this has been happening, and it's been wonderful, but it's too much too soon for him in particular. And this is where I say that dating after divorce adds in this whole extra layer, because I am further along in my post-divorce journey. Now, everybody does this at their own pace, so there is no set timeline for it. But both in time and in like personal healing work, I am further along in that than he is. He is more fresh from it all, although he is doing a lot of the post-divorce healing work. It's, like I said, he's just not as far along in it. And it scares the shit out of him that this feels so good and so possible between us. And so we have had to put the brakes on things, because if we go forward with it now, then we both know that it would be forcing it on his side. It would be doing more than he is ready for, because neither one of us wants to do this half-ass. Both of us are like, if we're going to do this, we're going all in. And he knows he's not ready for that yet. So we either forge ahead with it anyway and know it's probably going to end badly, or we put the brakes on it, which is what we're doing. I have no way of knowing if this is a goodbye forever, a goodbye for now, if we will circle back to each other. I don't know. But it's so frustrating to feel like this is so good and so right, and that's why we have to call it off. Like, oh, the frustration behind that. And knowing that it's the right thing to do, but also so fucking sad. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. And I've been, when I say like I was pretending to be okay with it, or I mean to feel sad, I know that I need to feel this, and I know it's okay to be part of it. And I have a lot, like I've spent a lot of time just like staring blankly out the window thinking about how sad this is, or texting a friend being like, this is really sad. I'm going to be a total nightmare about that for a while. But I haven't actually sat and cried, and I know that I've got these tears in it. Like, I know that this is it's still inside me, that like I need to let this feeling out. And my coach Kimberly last night said, oh, how did she say it? And I bet she got it from one of her mentors, but something along the lines of, a feeling unfelt will be held on to, but a feeling that's felt can be released. Something along those lines. So basically, until I allow myself to really sit with this and feel this sadness, I'm not going to be able to let go of it. Once I can, like when I really let myself go into the sadness, I'll be able to release that feeling. So my plan today is to watch like whatever saddest chick flick I can find and let the tears flow and let it come. Aside from the washing that I'm going to have to do because of threadworms. So I think Brene Brown talks about joy being the most vulnerable emotion that we can feel. And I will tie love in with that. I think love and joy are absolutely not the same thing, but they are connected, at least in my world. And I think that feeling, that love is one of the most vulnerable feelings you can feel as well. I am not saying I love this man I just met, but I am saying that act of, well, I suppose to some level, because I put love on like this massive sliding scale where it can mean a gajillion things. But the act of opening yourself up to another human, the act of really allowing yourself to connect and be seen, which is how it is with this guy. So one of the many reasons it's so good between us is from day one, it was like, here is our like raw, true self. Like there has been no dressing up and trying to impress and like, trying to put on the shiny front. Honestly, we haven't even gone on any like actual proper dates where you get dressed up and go out to a nice restaurant or even just a regular restaurant. Like we haven't done any proper dates. We've just like been together and like, so he's seen me in no makeup. He's seen me like just in like, he's doing we've been like I said, our raw, true selves right from the beginning. And that is really vulnerable. And especially coming off the back of a divorce, when it's like, last time I was this open with somebody, I got really, really, really hurt. And it takes time to repair that. Oh, I've got a comment. I felt this so many times. It's mourning the hope and what could have been. Yes, Charlotte, definitely. That's why it's so vulnerable. It's like, when you feel the good feelings, it's like, but then that could get taken away. Or if it does get taken away, then, we've got to go through that process of healing. And I think that there is a combination of active healing work that we do, which is what I've been doing and what I can support you guys doing. Like there's a big piece of it that is active healing work. But then there's also an element that does take time, that you can't snap your fingers and have it be done. There's an element of the heart's going to take as long as it takes to heal. It takes some time with that. So, yeah, I don't know. So the question I had about dating after a divorce wasn't super specific, there's so much I could say about it. But I think I'll leave it there for now on that bit, because there's so many elements that come from it. But at this point, it's the feeling what I need to feel, and then it's the knowing that it needs to match up for both people. I actually, as I'd said to him, like, I deserve to be with somebody who is open and available for the possibility of going all in, for the possibility of exploring without holding back. And until people have done their healing work around that, they're not going to be ready. That does not just apply to people who have been divorced. Obviously, there are plenty of people who have not been married who still have the same fear around going all in and being vulnerable and all of that. So it's not the only way that this can come up, but it is certainly one way that it comes up. So if you got more questions on that, let me know. I'm thinking, like I said, there's so much I could say about this. I'm thinking there's going to have to be a class on this at some point. I think I've mentioned that before too, but it's all just swirling around in my head. If you've got more questions, please let me know. I could talk about this all day, but I can kind of be guided off of what you think. Okay, moving on, because I've got some good questions this week, aside from dating after divorce. So one question that has come up is about toxic friends and letting toxic people into your life. And in the context of this question, it was letting toxic people into your life and then feeling bad about that and feeling anger at yourself for letting this person in, and then resentment as well about this person. So I think the first thing I want to say on this is it's so important to treat yourself with compassion about this, okay? So I know in this particular question, it was I'm angry that I let this person back in my life. And I just want to give, that version of you a huge hug. I want you to give that version of you a huge hug and say, it's okay. It's okay that this happened and that you let this person back in and that you trusted them. Because we can only ever do the best we can at any given point in time. And past us, no matter how much in the past it is, no matter how recent or ancient history it is, no matter what it was, past us deserves so much love for doing the best that she can, that she could. And then the next thing about it is that we can't change the past. Okay, so you can look back and go, I wish I'd done that differently, or had I known this, or had I known that. But you didn't do it differently. You did the best you could at the time, like I said. You can't change it now. You could only ever understand it. And then you can only ever change your actions here going forward, right? So I think in terms of, if you look back at it, and there's things that you can, to understand it, you can look back and think, okay, maybe were there any indications that this person wasn't trustworthy or was negative, or, I know you use the word toxic, but that can mean so many things. You can look back and think, in hindsight, were there any flags I should have paid attention to? And if so, again, you don't beat yourself up for noticing those now, because hindsight's 20/20, but you go, okay, now that I can understand that, I can know what to look for going forward. And if I notice those things or those flags or different flags, but it's about the process of spotting the flags. And you can go, okay, next time I'm feeling that way or noticing those things, I can maybe make different choices then. And it's also, I just totally lost my train of thought there. What was I going to say? So you can look back at that. But then it's about putting in place the boundaries now. Like I said, from this point forward, that's all we can do. So whether it's the same person or other people where this comes up, but you get to make the choice of A, who you allow in your life, B, to what level you allow them into your life, and how vulnerable you want to be with people. So it doesn't mean that like every person who's in your life you have to be like full soul to soul connection with. Like that's just not safe. Some people are, some people aren't. So you can look and go, okay, I'm willing to let this person in my life, but only like this far below the surface. Other people you might let in like this far below the surface or this far. And you might say, okay, this person's safe, but only like, I'm going to talk about the school run and the kids being sick. And I'm going to talk about, you know, gosh darn it, isn't it hot? And, where'd you get your paddling pool? But other people, you might, go beyond that. Equally, it's also always okay to say, you know what? I don't even want to talk about that. I don't want to know. I don't want to let them in at all. I don't want to know where you got the paddling pool and if the kids are sick and all of that. You get to make the decision of this energy doesn't feel good to me. And you can make that choice at any time, whether it's somebody who has been in your life and you now look and go, nope, not feeling good, you gotta go. Or whether it's, nope, I'm not gonna allow a new person in my life. Whatever it is, that choice is always, always yours to make. And you get to set that boundary wherever it's okay for you and wherever it feels comfortable. And now when I talk about setting boundaries, and remember that boundaries are for you. So it's not what you're asking other people to do or not do. It can involve that, but ultimately the boundary is something that you tolerate or don't tolerate, or that action that you take or don't take. So if this is somebody where you're like, no, this is like, I'm not letting this person in anymore. I'm not going to answer the calls, or I'm not going to, respond to invitations. I'm not going to go see you. It's something that you get to stick with. You get to say, you know what, here's where I'm drawing the boundary, and I'm just not willing to do that. But the biggest thing is, like I said, that compassion to the past self, knowing that you can't change the past and knowing that you can only go here and forward. Now, if there's something in the past that, you're worried about, some information she knows about you or something she might tell other people or share, again, that's not something that we can control. So this is easier said than done, but feeling able to release some of that worry about the past can go a long, long way, because she might tell everybody everything, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. The best thing that you can do is get solid in you right here, right now, and go, okay, whatever happens, I can weather this storm, I can be okay, and I am putting boundaries in place to have good people in my life going forward. Is there anything else I want to say on that? I think that's probably all I have for now. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. And if you've got any other questions on it, then let me know as well. Let me know in the comments or send me a message, and I can try and go into a bit more. But I think that's it on the toxic friends. Okay, then next question. These last two are shorter because I realized that I'm talking a lot today. Surprise, surprise. So the next are shorter questions. The first one is, are there any routines that I swear by, like morning or evening routines that really, really help me? The honest answer is no, which I feel like is probably not what you were expecting or hoping for. And there's a part of my brain, I'm going to be honest, that was like, oh, you must come up with a routine to tell people because this is what people want to hear. Like, all the successful people get up at, early in the morning and do these like morning routines, and that would be lying because I don't. So the fuller truth is that I go through seasons with these, and there are times where I have relied very heavily on my morning routines, and I absolutely loved it. So I do believe in the power of like how you start your day can really make an influence on how it carries on. I absolutely believe in that. But I also believe in honoring where we're at with life. And so the season I am in right now is that I don't have a morning routine as such. But if you are, so ones that have worked for me in the past. So there's been times, like I said, where I absolutely loved my morning routine. And there was a long stretch where I did 10 minutes of yoga every morning. So Yoga with Cassandra is my favorite. And she has a 10-minute morning yoga series. So I would get up every day and do 10 minutes of morning yoga. I absolutely love starting my morning by journaling my gratitude. So I have two journals. One's for like just like free writing journaling, and then one's my gratitude journal where every page is the same and it starts with I am grateful for, and then I fill the page with things I'm grateful for. Love, love, love that. Um, I have my morning affirmations, which sometimes I share. So some of you may have seen some of these. And those are where I read a list of affirmations that I've written that really resonate with me. And then sometimes it's free journaling, just writing what's going on. Those are the ones that really I've done for long periods of time. Like I said, I'm not doing them right now, but they do make a massive difference when I do them. So I would, the 10 minutes of yoga, the gratitude journaling, and the affirmations. And you can pick and choose pieces of those that work. But it's got to fit in your day. And right now it's not working for me. Instead, I kind of do pieces of those later in the day. Evening routines, I've never been good at evening routines. And I say good, I should say that in inverted commas, because that implies I'm bad at them, and that's also not true. But I stay up later than is probably healthy for me. And I don't get enough sleep, and I end up like doing housework or lost in an internet coma, etc. late at night. And then I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm going straight to bed. So bedtime and evening stuff, not my finest moments. I will say that lately I have been reading right before bed, which feels really good. But it's just, I've been doing that for quite a while, actually. Not every day, but since I was sucked into the Bridgerton books. Bridgerton was my bedtime book. Now I've got some new ones. So reading before bed, because it shuts off my brain, especially at this time of year where I'm busier with work. If I'm working late in the evening, I can't go straight from my spreadsheets to sleep because my brain just spends all night dreaming about work, which is the worst thing ever. Whereas if I read for a while in between, then it helps my brain swap. So that's kind of that one. And then if you've got questions, let me know. And then the final question that I was going to cover today, which I'll do quickly, although it's a big question, but I'm only going to have a quick answer for it today, is ways to improve your confidence. And I am doing this one quickly because it's a very big question, and ways to improve your confidence. And actually, I got asked this recently. I was on some of you may have seen, I went to London a few weeks ago for a work event for an awards night out. And that night we were sat on a table with somebody from a different company he's 28. And bless him, he was there on his own. Nobody else from his company was there, which is a big ask. But he asked that night, like, how do you improve your confidence? And this is specifically in a work context. But my answer then is actually the same answer now, which is probably not all that helpful, but is genuine, which is, to me, improving your confidence really is about being really grounded in who you are and being so true to yourself. So this is how, because I spent my first few years at work as a line manager, questioning everything. Every time something would go wrong or I'd have a difficult conversation or work would struggle, it was like, oh gosh, like I need more, I'm not any good at this, and I don't know how to manage people, and I was just questioning myself all of the time. And as I've gotten so much more grounded in who I am and showing up as truly me instead of like who I think I'm supposed to be, this is what a manager is supposed to do, this is how a wife is supposed to be, or a woman, or whatever. Whenever I'm trying to be what I think other people want me to be, I have no confidence in it because it's not me. But when I have gotten to a place when I can be so grounded in who I am and show up this way in the world, that's when my confidence really is like, okay, this is for real. Up until then, it's kind of like, I think I'm a confident person. Am I? Sometimes I'm confident. Not really. So it's such a simple sounding answer. I know that there's a lot more to it than that. And that, again, is all of the work that I have been doing myself, and all the work I can support you in doing, is that really getting grounded in who you are, getting intimate with yourself, and being willing to be that true, authentic version of you in the world. That said, I will also recommend a amazing, lovely coach she's on Instagram called Yes You Coaching. She's a good friend of mine, and she focuses a lot of her work is on confidence at work specifically, but also more generally. So although the work that I do definitely builds up to this, she talks about it far more explicitly. So Yes You Coaching, and yeah, follow her. She offers workshops and programs around confidence at work. A lot of what she talks about is talking about yourself in a much kinder, gentler way. You know, like the words that we use in our head to ourselves make a huge difference. And would you say these things to a friend or a colleague? And if not, then why on earth are you saying them to yourself? Catching yourself, you know, that mental dialogue and inner dialogue, and changing that. So she's got loads of kind of more explicit tips on that. But like I said, the work that we can do here is really building up that love for yourself, that trust for yourself, and that in turn is what builds your confidence. So I have gone way over, as usual. And I hope you could hear all of this with it being outside. I'm going to quickly say, so as I'm ending all of these with the ways you can work with me, because that's, you know, exciting stuff. So I've got one-to-one coaching spot left. So that is 3 months of coaching together, and we get 3 video calls a month for about up to an hour-long video calls. You get Voxer support, which is voice note and texting in between, and you get access to any masterminds that I do. So I've got a rolling 1-month mastermind at the moment. So the ones that fall in, so if you're to sign up now, you get access to August and September. And October when it comes around. So you get access to any programs that I do in the meantime. So that's the 3 months of coaching together. And then I'm also offering the mini one-to-one sessions where you get 3 one-to-one sessions with me. And those can be used, they have to be used within a space of 2 months, but you can do them like 3 weeks in a row. You can do them every 2 weeks, you know, whatever kind of, we can work out the schedule between us. But that's a smaller way to dive in with me as well. And I am super excited to do that with you. That one does not, I should mention that the 3 sessions, so like the mini package, that does not come with a Voxer support, okay? So that's only the 3 calls that we're on, which you can get loads done in that time as well. But obviously the full 3 month is like the deep dive. So if you're interested in any of those, let me know. I also am willing to do connection calls. So I'd been posting about some of those that I had availability today. If today's didn't work for you and you want to do more, you can send me a message and we can try and work out a different time. And yeah, I think that's about it. So like I said, if you've ever got any questions, send me a message, leave a comment, and I will be back here next week, Wednesday, to do the same, Wednesday at 10. It's always saved down in the video section on my Instagram page, so you can watch them back. And if you've got questions for next week's Q&A, send me a message, or I'll put it up on my stories next Tuesday, and you can put it in there. Okay, I think that's it. I love you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.